about a cool topic when it comes to bodybuilding or hypertrophy training, and that's, should I train till failure? Okay, so I've had clients and patients ask me this all the time. It's like, I'm in the gym, I'm lifting hard, I've probably been, somebody has told me previously that I need to train till failure. Okay, so basically till I can't press the bar up any further, I can't curl the weight up anymore, my arm literally falls. I reach volitional failure. Okay. Is that necessary for muscle growth? The truth is that research has come out more recently showing that that true failure is not 100% necessary. Meaning you can, if you come pretty close to failure, maybe within 1 to 2 reps, you call that a 1 to 2 reps in reserve on that set in terms of perceived effort, that is enough to stimulate hypertrophy. Okay, and when we say hypertrophy, we mean growing a muscle. Okay, obviously if we are trying to lift weights, we're usually trying to either grow some muscle, improve some strength, improve some power measures, things like that. Specifically for this video, I want to stick to hypertrophy because it does get a little different when we talk about power output or even strength output. It's a little bit different of a conversation, but when it comes to hypertrophy, it seems as though, again, from the research, that like 1 to 2 reps in the tank or reps in reserve is a good place to be in terms of building muscle. Now, everyone asks, should I do high reps to build muscle or should I do low reps to build strength and muscle? What rep range should I be in? The truth is that there's a very wide range of reps that you can be in and still build muscle. So what's been studied is like that 5 to 30 rep range. And that sounds bigger than what most people kind of think of when they think hypertrophy ranges. They think, 10 or 12 or 15. But the truth is that, in those lower rep ranges, let's call it the 5 rep range, you're gonna build a little bit more strength, assuming a 1 to 2 rep in reserve effort. Okay, so I put weight on the bar, I can do 5 reps, I could maybe, gun to my head, I can maybe do 1 or 2 more, but inherently the load will be heavier. So the volume is low, the reps are low, the intensity or the weight is high. That's definitely a winning combo for adding size. But it will lean you more towards gaining some strength. Okay, so you will gain more strength when the load on the bar is heavier and the reps are a little bit lower. That's pretty intuitive. As I go up into 12, 15, 20, even 30 reps, we start to gain less strength and put on a little bit more, emphasize a little bit more hypertrophy or endurance as opposed to strength. So if I can do something for 30 reps, I'm not going to be loading that barbell or dumbbell very heavy at all. And that means that the strength adaptation that I'm going to make to that is a little bit less than the 5 rep set. Okay. So if I can do let's say we'll just stick with the bench press. If I can do that for 30 reps, that load is going to be less. There's going to be less of a stimulation for strength and more of a stimulation towards endurance and hypertrophy of that muscle. So the muscle may swell up in size, there's a bunch of blood that's going to flow in there, and it's you may be a little bit more limited from metabolic factors of fatigue rather than like neurological strength. Okay, so towards the end you're going to fatigue, that muscle is going to fatigue, and you may hit a failure point, but it will be with less load, meaning that there's less of a strength kind of stimulus for you. Okay, so again, truthfully, there's a lot of reps you can build muscle in, okay? And we can talk about BFR even too, that kind of, adds a whole nother aspect to this. We'll cover that in another video. But in answer to the question, you don't have to go till true failure every time. And I would recommend probably not doing that for the average, trainee or individual or athlete even, but coming pretty close. And I think that's a point to hit on here is you have to experience failure first to know how many more reps you have in the tank, okay? So a lot of people will say, oh man, I don't think I could have gotten 1 more, but it's like, all right, life or death situation, you need to press a boulder off your chest or whatever. We'll compare the bench press to, pushing a boulder off. Could you get that thing off you? And, gun to the head, I always say, like, you could probably get a couple more reps out of there. Now, we can talk about technique and, joint pain and things like that, injury history, all that stuff is relevant here, but taking a set till failure is I would call it a skill, okay? And you need to kind of work at that skill and realize what failure feels like so that you know what 1 to 2 reps should feel like. We should see a decrease in bar speed. We should see obviously some obvious signs of fatigue. You should not be finishing that 1 to 2 rep in reserve set with real good speed. It should not be happening, okay? That's not your true end of set feel for a 1 to 2 rep in reserve set if you're really, firing that bar up and off you. So you should see a decrease. You should definitely be fatiguing. You should feel like, man, hopefully I have a spotter here because I might miss groove one and I might miss this one, okay? So that's something to think about too. At the end of the day, we want to be in that, maybe 1 to 2, maybe 3 reps in reserve, but you want to be close to failure. You do not have to, have the bar hit you, fail completely, do forced reps. Those are not necessary for optimal stimulation of hypertrophy. And again, the conversation when it comes to strength and power is slightly different, but specifically for hypertrophy, we want to be about 1 to 2 reps away. And we can definitely stimulate, muscle protein synthesis and those growth mechanisms in that rep range. Again, anywhere from 5 to 30 can get it done. At least that's what's been most studied in the past. But leave that 1 to 2 reps in reserve, and you will be, right where you need to be in terms of building muscle. All right, so we will see you guys in the next one. Keep submitting your questions, and we'll see you soon.